Aston Villa's 4-0 comeback victory over Nottingham Forest to reach the UEFA Europa League final is great news for a number of Premier League clubs, and even for José Mourinho's Benfica. Villa currently sit 5th in the Premier League, and if they are to finish in that position and win the Europa League, 6th place in the division will also earn Champions League qualification for next season. Bournemouth currently lie in 6th, but both Brentford and Brighton are within 2 points of the Cherries. For all three teams, qualification would mark their first ever appearances in Europe's top-level competition. The situation also provides hope for Chelsea, who despite 6 consecutive league defeats are 4 points off 6th alongside Everton and another potential Champions League debutant in Fulham. So, the Villains can expect great home support when they face Freiburg in Istanbul. The situation becomes complex based on whether Villa's league position changes. If Villa move up into 4th, where Liverpool are currently placed, only the top 5 teams in the Premier League will qualify for the Champions League. So what is the state of play regarding European qualification? Who qualifies for Europe as it stands? As a reward for English clubs' collective progress in European competitions this season, the Premier League has been awarded a European Performance Spot (EPS) in the UEFA Champions League. This means an extra team will qualify for Europe's elite club competition based on league position. So currently, the top 5 teams in the Premier League go into the Champions League, with 2 qualifying places for the Europa League, 6th place in the league and the FA Cup winners, and 1 Conference League qualifier, Carabao Cup winners. Manchester City have already secured a spot in the Champions League, so their Conference League place for winning the Carabao Cup over Arsenal in March is passed on to the next highest finisher in the Premier League who hasn't already qualified for Europe. This means that 7th place qualifies for the Conference League. Where things get complicated is the implications regarding the FA Cup. Chelsea and Manchester City play the final next Sunday and the winner earns qualification to the Europa League. Chelsea currently sit 9th. If they win the FA Cup and remain outside the top 7, they will qualify for the Europa League. If they finish 6th, the Europa League spot for Premier League position would go to 7th, and the Conference League spot would go to 8th place. If Manchester City win the FA Cup, since they have already qualified for the Champions League, the Europa League spot would be passed to 7th and the Conference League spot down to 8th. If Villa lose the Europa League final, these permutations remain as they are. But what if Villa win the Europa League? The winner of the Europa League final earns automatic qualification to the Champions League. This means if Aston Villa win the Europa League but fail to finish in the top 5, they would qualify for the Champions League regardless of league position. If Villa remain in the top 5 and win the Europa League, their exact league position will have a great impact on who qualifies for the Champions League. If Villa finish 5th, the EPS would be passed on to 6th place, allowing either Bournemouth, Brentford or Brighton to make their Champions League debut. The Cherries are currently the favourites to finish 6th as they already have a 1-point buffer over Brentford in 7th. The Premier League would then forfeit its Europa League spot for league position and 7th would qualify for the Conference League. The knock-on effect from the FA Cup would, however, still apply. If Villa finish 3rd or 4th, the EPS would not be passed down and instead, the top 5 in the Premier League would go into the Champions League. 6th position would earn a Europa League spot and 7th would get their hands on a Conference League place, before any knock-on effect from the FA Cup. In this scenario, the EPS would fall to the individual club with the best UEFA coefficient ranking from the Champions League's qualifying rounds. As it stands, Jose Mourinho's Benfica, who are currently second in the league behind Porto, are the highest-ranked club in UEFA's coefficient table in terms of eligibility, placed in 14th ahead of rivals Sporting in 15th. Benfica fans will therefore be cheering on Aston Villa in both the Europa League final and the Premier League run-in, as their form is crucial to their hopes of qualifying for Europe's elite competition next term.